The second case study I am doing is on the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Simply put, it was a collapse that was caused between the bridge and wind. So in 1940, the bridge was built very long and narrow in shape, which caused it to be very flexible and vulnerable to the wind. And on November 7th, with winds up to 40 miles an hour, vibrations were set off on the bridge. And because of the bridge's lack of proper structure and build, these vibrations quickly intensified and the bridge began to twist. With all this happening, cars were still attempting to cross it or were just simply stuck as the bridge was twisting side to side. And as that twisting kept occurring, those cables, suspensions, and other elements of the bridge began to be pushed past their limits, and that twisting became more violent, which ultimately caused the bridge to break apart and collapse. Some of those internal factors that also caused the bridge to collapse inside the business and organizational decisions was mainly caused by wanting to cut costs as much as they could, some of the design choices that were made, and just an insufficient understanding of those aerodynamic forces with the wind and bridge. During the planning and construction phases, those design makers who were the engineers and government officials prioritized a more economical design over structural durability and making sure that the bridge is as stable as possible. They cut corners whenever they could, and they also limited the internal communication regarding the potential instability of the bridge. They also overlooked tests that were being done that may have shown that the bridge was not as stable as it could have been. Even during the construction process, workers noticed how unstable the bridge was and how much it moved, but nothing was done, and that construction process, of course, kept happening, which led to the bridge being built. There were also management decisions that were made, again, trying to cut costs, and many of them just ignored warning signs, which could have been able to prevent that collapse from happening in the first place. And some lessons that can be learned from this disaster is just not to get too ambitious with designs without knowing the proper ways to build it, with the bridge being as narrow as it was and as long as it was. They did not understand what it took to be able to make that bridge as stable as possible, since at the end of the day, that is what matters, is that people are able to get from point A to point B. Another lesson that can be learned is that sometimes simple is better. You don't have to make the biggest and best bridge, which is something that a lot of people and companies are wanting to do. A lot of times, if simple works, then again, that's all that matters.